Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Chris, and welcome back to my podcast. This is episode 2. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support on episode 1. I got a lot of really good messages, DMs on Instagram, text messages. I just got a really good amount of just support from you guys. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for all of that. I think we cracked 50 views on the first episode. So I just want to say I really appreciate it. With that being said, I guess we're just going to jump straight into the episode. Excuse me if I'm sniffling. I don't know. I just kind of have some allergies today. Going to be pushing through it and just going to be jumping right into today's episode. So as you guys can see, we have our first guest. It's going to be my cat, Chloe. She literally just jumped up here 5 minutes ago, right before I was about to start recording. And I figured, why not just leave her there to be our first guest. But first things first is you guys notice a different setup. I have now moved from my desk to our living room area over here. I figured this is a lot more pleasing and like aesthetic view for the podcast. So the guest will be sitting right here next to me. And I think it'll just look a lot nicer and the lighting will be a lot better. So one thing I did before this episode is I went on Instagram and I posted something and asked you guys for questions that you wanted me to answer on my podcast. And I got a couple, and I'm going to be answering some of them here for you today. So the first question is NFL related. And it was from my boy, Emil. And he said, will Lamar Jackson end up having a better career than Michael Vick? Now, the short answer is yes, in my opinion. And I think he already has. Now, in terms of impact on the game, Michael Vick is one of the most influential NFL players of all time. I mean, he has literally changed. He literally changed the game. You know, he was the first legitimate mobile quarterback. I mean, you know, you want to go back. You had, Fran Tarkenton. You had Steve Young. You had who else? John Elway was somewhat mobile. And then Vince Young, didn't really work out in the NFL, but, Michael Vick was the first legitimate mobile quarterback in the NFL. Like, he took it to a whole nother level. So in terms of legacy, Michael Vick, Lamar's not going to beat that. But in terms of an NFL career when it's all said and done, unless Lamar Jackson dies today, he's going to have a better career than Michael Vick. So if we look at the numbers, if you just want to go by stats, I was looking at the numbers, and honestly, I did not realize how little passing yards, touchdowns, and all that stuff that Michael Vick had. So Vick has 133 touchdowns and 88 interceptions, 2,200 passing yards, and 6,000 rushing yards, right? But then we look at Lamar Jackson, and he's already got 125 touchdowns and 45 interceptions. So he's got less interceptions, and he's only about 10 touchdowns away from passing that. And then he has 5,200 rushing yards. So Lamar Jackson just needs to play another season, and he will already surpass Michael Vick statistically. And then we can also look at postseason play, right? Michael Vick, in his 5th year in his career, brought the Falcons to the NFC Championship game and lost against the Eagles. Since then, he had never, ever been back to an NFC Championship game. I think he only went back to the playoffs once after that, if I'm not mistaken. But Michael Vick has a 2-4 record in the playoffs. Michael Vick is at a 2-3 record in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson is currently 2-4. So, Lamar's not going anywhere. So the short answer is yes, Lamar Jackson will have a better career once it's all said and done. Now, the next question here, I thought was a pretty good one. Is Anthony Edwards the next face of the NBA? I'm gonna say yes and no. Now, I know that can be a little tricky. Oh, that question, by the way, came from Joel. Shout out my boy Joel, Chiefs fan as well. The answer is no, because in terms of faces of the NBA, it's a very short list in NBA history. You have your Bill Russell, you have your Wilt, you have Kareem, you have Magic, you had Bird, you had Jordan, then you have LeBron, and then you have Kobe. I don't foresee another Braun or another Kobe. I don't foresee another GOAT coming in and being the next face of the NBA. I think right now we're very evenly spread out across the board, position-wise as well. You know, you have your top 20 players. You have Jokic, you have Kawhi, you have Paul George, you have Jason Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Devin Booker, you have KD. I mean, the list goes on. Anthony Edwards. Shoot, do I even want to throw Donovan Mitchell in there? No, but you guys know like who these guys are. You know, you have Jimmy Butler. I mean, the league is stacked with talent, so I don't think there is a face of the NBA. Of course, Luka, Kyrie, but could he become the next face of the NBA? Sure. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he can't, but in terms of face of the NBA, that is a very I don't want to say that is just a very heavy statement to say Anthony Edwards will be the next face of the NBA. I've seen it in the media. I've seen First Take talk about it a lot. By a lot, I think I mean like once or twice. But no is the answer, because like I reiterated, you know, you got your GOATs. Jordan, Kobe, Bron, Kareem, Wilt, Oscar Robertson. Like, you got all those guys. Those guys were the faces of the NBAs. So, yeah. Now, the next question is a sidetrack from sports. This question comes from my boy Troy, and he asks, what are your top 5 Star Wars projects? And then he said movies and shows included. So, I have my top 5 list for you guys. If you guys don't know, I love Star Wars, and currently watching Bad Batch. But to get into my list, this was such a hard list to make, man. There's so much good Star Wars out there, and there's a lot of crappy Star Wars sequels, that being. And yeah, you know, this is my top 5s. You know, my personal top 5. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fans of the trilogy. If we were ranking just movies, of course, Empire Strikes Back would be in my top 5, of course, but it's not, because we're not doing just movies, we're doing shows. So number 1, we got Revenge of the Sith. Believe it or not, I actually went and saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters in 2005. My dad took me when it came out, and I was 5 years old. So yeah, just movie just hits home with me. I grew up watching that movie time and time again, and it's my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. You know, I know there's its downsides, and I hate it, but I agree with it. Anakin's fall to the dark side was too quick, and they should have elaborated on that. But you know, it is what it is. So number 2, we have Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated TV show. I grew up. Now, this is not an understatement. I grew up watching this show. Saturday mornings, Cartoon Network, like 9, 10 a.m. Sit down and watch it every single Saturday. And, you know, season 7 was great. Echo's my favorite clone. It just gave the clones what's the word? It gave the clones characteristics? No. There's some word that I'm missing here. You guys are probably going to drill me in the comments, but it gave, like, the clones... it made the clones matter, you know? So, just beautiful. You know, it does have a ton of filler episodes. You know, you want to say Bad Batch had filler episodes. Clone Wars is a king of filler episodes, but number 2 is going to be Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Now, number 3, oh man, this is great Star Wars. I'm finishing it up right now, actually. Star Wars Rebels. Such a beautiful show, you know, to bounce off of Clone Wars. And, you know, after Revenge of the Sith as well, after the events of Revenge of the Sith. But it's just such a beautiful movie or TV show. Introduces all these new characters, brings back Maul, introduces Kanan. You have Phoenix Squadron. You know, Mon Mothma is in there. It shows the rebellion, you know, forming. It's just such a beautiful show. Literally getting goosebumps right now. But I've said this multiple times. If I did not grow up on Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels would be my favorite Star Wars show. Then at number 4, I'm gonna go Rogue One. This movie I've only watched twice, and it's been out 8 years. I've only watched it twice. I just can't watch it because I'm gonna cry. But it's that good of a movie. You know, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. I'm gonna spoil it. Everyone dies, and to be honest, you don't really get that too much in Star Wars. So to see, you know, the characters build up and, you know, fight against the Empire, and then, see everyone die, including some guys from the Empire. Just watch their planet get just completely blown to smithereens. I mean, the story is just impeccable. It's amazing. So Rogue One is at number 4, and at number 5, following that, actually the predecessor to that is Andor. I think Andor is such a beautiful show. Like, it's the views, the shots in there, the cinematics. It is all real. They went to maybe Iceland or something. They went somewhere in Europe to record a lot of the show, and it is just beautiful. The storyline too, of giving it to the Empire and coming up with all these new characters as well. It is to tie into Rogue One, the movie. It's just perfect. And then honorable mention at number 6, I got Mando. Mando's such a good TV show and really helped revive Star Wars, if we're kind of being honest here. So that's going to do it for the Instagram questions. Now we're going to move on to, if the NBA playoffs started today, what would be the first round matchups? So I'm going to start with the East. So the East, we got the Celtics and the Magic. I'm going to be honest. This ain't much of a series. Maybe, I could see the Magic stealing one, at home or on the road. But, I mean, the Celtics are just such a good team. The Magic are a good team. They're going to end up with at least 40 wins this season, which is a big jump from last season. Well, they're probably going to end up with probably like 45 wins this season, which is pretty good. But the East is just very competitive. And, yeah. Not too much to say about that series. Next one is the Cavs Heat. Jimmy Butler's I know the Heat are currently, they're 31-25, and they are 5 games behind the 2 seed. But I mean, you just cannot count out Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra. I mean, that would be a good series. But honestly, I could see the Cavs choking again like they did to the Knicks last year. Then it would be the Pacers Bucks. Wow. I did not realize the Pacers were that high. Honestly, I still think the Bucks win. I'll give the Bucks winning in, 5 or 6. They have a Tyrese Halliburton. That is the Pacers. And they also got Pascal Siakam now. So, but, the Pacers just are the Pacers and the Bucks are the Bucks. I could see it going 6 games just because of Doc Rivers not making the right adjustments. But, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Then the 4-5 matchup, Knicks-Sixers. If it started right now, there would be no Joel Embiid. So honestly, I would have to take the Knicks. I'd probably take the Knicks in either 5 or 6. They're a really good basketball team. They've been playing great. This might hurt a lot of people's feelings, but they have a good team, but they don't have great players aside from Jalen Brunson. They have a lot of good players on their team. Guys who aren't necessarily all-stars. I'm not counting what's that guy's name? Julius Randle. He's Julius Randle. But they have a lot of guys that can play that aren't great. They got Josh Hart. They also got Dante DiVincenzo, OJ Anunoby. They got guys that can play that are not great, but it's a really good coach team, and they know how to win basketball games. So that's going to be for the East. For the West, man, I was looking at this before I started recording, and man, these would be some spicy matchups. So first one would be the Timberwolves and the Suns. And man, would that be a series. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. You got what's that guy's name that played with Portland? Or played with Dame Nusif Uric, whatever. You guys know who I'm talking about. Their center. And then I know he's not really part of the team, but you got Bol, who could also help with the size. But then you got the Timberwolves, who are a really good team. They got Cat, they got Anthony Edwards, they got, who's their other big? The Rudy Gobert. They have size. They got guys that can shoot. They have guys that can create their own shot. So that would be a really good matchup. I would love to see how it goes out, especially if both teams are healthy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns win in 7. Or if the Timberwolves 1-5, if the Timberwolves just have their number the whole time and just completely go at them. But, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, they're kind of hard to stop. So, yeah, next one would be the 2-seed Thunder at the Kings. Honestly, I hate to say it, but Thunder in 5, to be honest. I'm not going to say too much about that. Next one would be Clippers and the Mavericks. Seems like they play almost every year in the playoffs. Luka has played the Clippers 2 out of his 3 times he's been in the playoffs. So It's always going to be a good series. Luka is really coming into form. Kyrie, Jason Kidd's got a hold of that team as of right now. I think they've won 7 straight. Clippers, I would have to see how they match up. The Clippers do have I'm going to stand on this. The Clippers are the deepest team in the NBA, so we'll see how they kind of match up against the Mavs. But I would take the Clippers. I stand by what I said. I don't think anyone's beaten the Clippers in a 7-game series. Then the 4-5 matchup will be Nuggets Pelicans. This would be a great matchup solely because of Jokic and Zion. I think that's how they would match up. I wouldn't want to see any other big guarding Jokic. I think that would be a good matchup. You got Brandon Ingram, you got Jose Alvarado, you got CJ McCollum, Zion, and then you have that deep Denver squad who is, the defending champion. So that would be a really good in terms of matchups. I think that would be the best matchup in the first round to see, just see how coaches adjust every other game, what they're going to throw at the defense and offenses. I think that would be a really good matchup. Now, moving away from the NBA, I want to talk to you guys about my fast. I did a 72-hour fast, and I ended up losing specifically 9.6 pounds, so 10 pounds. And I just want to talk to you guys about it because, honestly, I felt like I needed it. And, Dana White had talked about it, and I was like, I want to do it. He did, I think, 86 hours or something, but I did 72. Yeah, so the first 24 hours, I could only drink water and electrolytes. And then after that, I drank bone broth. I think I drank half of a bone broth once a day. So, yeah, I'll throw up a picture of my before and after, and you guys can tell a difference. So it was really good. It helped mainly with my bloating and like some belly fat that I could not get rid of. But yeah, it was kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. The first night, I was just literally craving everything, like Chipotle, Pan Express, burgers, pizza, fries. I mean, you name it, I was craving it. I'm allergic to fish. I was probably craving fish, to be honest with you guys. But then the second day, it was a little bit better. I just kept on hydrating. As long as you stay hydrated, you'll be completely fine. But yeah, then the third day, I was also pretty hungry. But as long as you drink your liquids and you drink your bone broth, you'll be fine. So for the electrolytes, it has to have 0 everything besides sodium. For the bone broth, it had 0 everything besides sodium and protein. So I did that. I did Ultima for the electrolytes. You can get it on Amazon, Walmart, Publix. And then the bone broth, I don't remember what it was, but I got it at Walmart. So if you're interested, comment down below and I could get back to you on exactly the products if you guys want to do it. But it was really fun. It was really challenging, but I got through it, and yeah. Now to wrap it up, the last thing I want to talk about is guests moving forward on the show. As you can see, we have our first guest, Chloe. So the next episode is either going to be my boy Adam or my boy Jesus. For Adam and I, we were high school teammates. We played football together, and that episode I'm really looking forward to because I know it's just going to be jokes and banter the entire time, and we're going to be talking about football. We're going to drop a couple of locker room stories for you guys, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Then Jesus, my boy, I've known him since 2010, so 14 years and going and counting, excuse me. And we're going to talk NBA. Have a lot of topics for him and I to talk NBA, and yeah, I'm just really excited. If you are interested, hit me up. Let me know. I also do want to start getting on athletes, people that play for, whether it be UCF, whether it is, high school sports, whether, you already played high school sports or you don't play now, just want to try and start gaining that momentum of getting other guests on the show that I don't necessarily know. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's podcast, this episode actually. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you have any questions that you want me to answer for next episode, just drop them down below and I will answer them for you. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed. And as always, I will see you all next video. Peace. What are you doing? What are you doing?